Good morning students, Saira. My name is Smita Raj and today I am going to start with a new subject for you called skill education. Now you must be wondering what is this new subject called skill education, because till now, till standard from 1st standard to 8th standard you have been studying something called a subject called as computer, and now suddenly when you come to 9th standard, why is it not called computer? Now let me explain exactly to you what is skill education. CBSE has introduced this subject called skill education in standard 9th and 10th. Now under the skill education, you have got multiple options which you can avail of. For example, there are some of them are the IT, you have got media, you have got banking and finance, you have got marketing, and you have got AI. There are many options available under skill education. So we have opted for the artificial intelligence as your skill subject. So today we are going to start with the skill education. Now from now on it is going to be called as skill education, and under your CBSE website also all your details regarding the your skill subject will be found under the tab of skill education. It will no longer be called as computers. So now let us go on to understanding what is the skill education and what is this particular subject all about. Now, before we go on to skill education or what I am going to teach in today's video, let me first give you a preview about skill education. Skill education is divided into two parts. The first part is your employability skills and the second part is your skill subject. In our case, it is going to be AI. So, skill education part 1, employability skills, is common for all the skill subjects, be it media, be it artificial intelligence, be it marketing, be it food processing or interior designing. These are all the many of the multiple skill subjects which the board is offering to you. But employability skills is common for all skill subjects, which means you have to learn employability skills as a part of skill education. Now, under employability skills, we have got 5 different units which need to be completed first. The first one is communication skills, second is self-management skills, third one is information communication technology skills or ICT skills as you call it, entrepreneurial skills and green skills. Once all these skills are completed, which means part 1 of skill education is completed, then we will go on to part 2, which is your subject skill, which is artificial intelligence. So from now on in the video series, we will be first covering all the skill education employability skills part 1. Today, as a part of this, we are going to start with employability skills, the second unit, which is self-management. Now all these skill units all the employability skill units are very simple and easy. Now you must be wondering as a student, why should I learn all these type of self-management, green skills and communication skills, etc. Now because the intention of the board is that you are learning a particular new skill, and when you are learning this skill, you are going to retain this skill throughout your life to earn and improve your career. So along with learning a course subject, you are also learning some of the skills that you need to make yourself a better person and make yourself in the society. You need to be a better person, and you will be able to use your skills more effectively when you learn this type of skill subjects, this type of skill units. For example, communication skills, when you learn, you will be able to communicate better. Self-management, you will be able to manage yourself better in the worst of the situations. ICT skills will help you to enhance the knowledge of computers and technology. When you learn green skills, you are contributing much more to the society in terms of making the society more environment friendly, using resources limited. So as you go on, you will start learning, you will start understanding why we are learning this skill subject, that is this employability skills. So let's go on to the first skill, which is called as self-management. Now, what is self-management? Self-management refers to management of one's own self. That means taking responsibility for one's own behavior and well-being. So it includes all the factors that make you a better person as a human being. The factors like your interpersonal skills, problem solving, your honesty, your communication, your life skills, your confidence, integrity, all this together makes you a good person. So how you will manage yourself as a person is what is going to be taught under self-management. Now, self-management also means how you interact with people around you, how you interact with your friends, your family, the society at large, how you conduct yourself in the society, how you will look around with the people around you, the resources around you. How do you manage all this, which is a part of self-management. I hope you are understanding that managing yourself as a human being is what we learn under self-management. Now, why is it so important to learn self-management? It is important because it instills a lot of confidence in a person, and you will be able to deal and tackle with all the problems, and you will be able to find out certain sustainable and long-term solutions to your personal life. So it basically improves you as a person. It instills confidence in you. You are able to manage and handle the problems which face, because later on when you start living and working together using all the skills that you have learned, you should be able to manage yourself in any situation that comes around for you in your later on life. So learning self-management or understanding self-management is very, very important. Yeah. Now we go on to the next part, that is exhibitors of self-management. What are the factors that exhibit your self-management? That is your mannerisms. How are your mannerisms when you come to deal with people? How are your manners in school, in your home, in a society, when you go for functions? How is your manners? That is a very important exhibitor of self-management. The next one is knowledge. Knowledge does not only mean bookish or academic knowledge that you have. It also means all the knowledge that you have about what is happening all around you, your country, what is happening around in the world of technology, what is happening around in the world of sports. So your general knowledge, what you have, that all is a part of yourself, how you can manage yourself. The next is your intention. What is your intentions? Are they good intentions, or do you have a bad intention about everything? Do you want to go your intentions about doing a particular task? Is it always good or is it bad? Do you get such type of thoughts where you can try to cheat, or this type of intention that a person holds is also a part of himself. The next exhibitor is deeds. What type of deeds do you do? Do you do good deeds always? Are you a mixed person? Do you do some bad deeds? Sometimes, everybody may not be the same type. So sometimes you may be a good person. Sometimes you may do good deeds like helping others, or with the homework, or sharing your notes, or doing some sort of a charity. Sometimes you can also do bad deeds like stealing money, stealing things from people, or telling lies. So your deeds are a very important part of you. And the last but not the least are your habits. What are your habits? Do you have a good habit of maintaining cleanliness in the house, doing things at the right time, not respecting your parents? So some of the habits which you develop as a child, from a child to an adulthood, that also makes up a person. So all these factors together, your manners, your knowledge, your intentions, deeds and habits, are all exhibitors of yourself. How are you as a person? Now, what happens what are the positive effects of self-management? It guides you and helps you conduct your behavior. Whenever you try to manage yourself, you are always aware of yourself and how you have to conduct and behave. It helps you in self-evaluation. That means it helps you to evaluate yourself as a person. What a person are you? Are you lazy? Are you cruel? Or are you very, are you very good to others? So are you, and you find it very difficult to understand other people. So when you start managing yourself, you also start understanding and evaluating yourself as a person. And it also leads to self-reinforcement of positive behavior. When you start understanding yourself better or evaluating yourself better, it also helps you to reinforce good and positive behavior in yourself. So these are some of the positive effects that you have of self-management. Now, what are the factors of self-management skills? There are certain factors which lead to self-management to improve your self-management skills. Let us go by them one by one. So, self-awareness, that means awareness about yourself, knowing as an individual what are your values, likes, dislikes, your strengths, weaknesses. Becoming aware of yourself is one important factor of self-management. The next one is self-confidence. How much do you believe in yourself? How much do you know that you will be able to do any task that is given or handed over to you? Do you believe that you can handle any situations, or are you weak person? So all this and how much of self-confidence you have is another important factor. Next is self-motivation. Doing a task on your own without any help from others. Will you be able to do tasks given to you on your own, or do you need pressure from your parents or your teachers? So self-motivation is another important factor. Next is self-control. How much control do you have on your behavior, on your discipline? How much do you get angry? Are you able to control your emotions? Are you very sensitive? Are you an emotional person? Do you get angry very fast? So all this is your self-control. Problem solving. Suppose you are faced with certain problems. How do you handle that situation? Do you get very jittery, or do you get scared, or are you confidently able to manage any step by step? Are you able to find out solutions? All this is another problem solving is another aspect of self-management. And the last but not the least, you have got personal hygiene and grooming. How do you groom yourself? How do you manage yourself? Are you a clean person? Do you wear clean clothes? Do you brush your teeth every day? Do you take a bath? How is your personal hygiene? All this becomes part of self-management. Let us go ahead by one in detail. Now, self-confidence means the confidence that you are able, you know that you have the capability and the potential to achieve your goals. So, and you are able to manage all the challenges which come up, and you are able to live a healthy life because of self-confidence. For example, initiating a new activity, like you have never written a blog, or you have never you start singing, which certain things which you can start as instilling confidence in yourself. So self-confidence is a very important factor of self-management. Next one is stress management. How do you behave in areas where there is something which is stress? That is psychological tension, discomfort originating from some unforeseen or difficult and challenging situations which come across. How do you manage that? For example, doing your time well in advance. You know that there is a lot of stress. There are some people who will always study at the last moment, or do projects at the last moment, or they will not attend classes, and finally when they are faced with some sort of a test or some sort of a submission, they start wilting under the pressure. They are not able to take that stressful situation, so they think about many different bad ways of dealing with the stress, like alcohol, or they may go in for suicidal tendencies, things like that. So how do you manage your stress when dealing with a very unforeseen circumstance is what you learn under stress management. Next is independent working. Can you work as an individual? How typically do you assign yourself? How do you take ownership and responsibility for doing your work? Do you need to be constantly supervised and told by your parents and teachers to be done? How do you manage your, like for example, preparing for a test or a competitive exams? How do you manage? Do you have to be constantly told study, or you will be able to do it on your own? Can you independently work without being told or given instructions? So this is what you learn and under independent working. Next is, how good are you working as a team? When you are given a team project, how do you work with others? Do you want always your point of view? How do you contribute to the team? How do you the goals, and how effectively and efficiently you are managing your team? Do you work, or do you fight with your team members? Do you feel that only your point of view should be taken? You are not ready to listen to the others? Or how well are you as a team player is very important in self-management. You have to learn to work as a team, because when you start working in, or when you start going out into the society, you will always have to work in teams. So how good are you as a team player is very important part of self-management. Next one is self-motivation. That is, how good are you? What is your motivational factor? Some students have to be motivated at every given step of time. But some of them are always self-motivated. They know that they have a driving force in them to do what they have to do to achieve their goals. So you have to understand, you have to make a list of your notes, study. Some children do it very meticulously, make study notes, study well in advance, prepare for tests without being told to do. So how good is your self-motivation becomes a very important part of self-management. Your personality development. How do you dress up for school? Are you prim and prompt? How do you verbally communicate with people? How are you groomed when you go and meet? How do you conduct yourself on playgrounds or in library or in the labs? So this type of personality, how is your personality? Are you a sloppy person or are you a very good person? Like people like to come and interact with you. So this becomes a part of your personality. So personality development is very, very important in self-management. The last but not the least is time management. How do you manage your time? Do you have enough time for other activities like recreational activities, relaxational activities, sports, singing, music, or are you the entire time you are going on managing only with studies? So a good person or an efficient person will be able to properly manage his time so that he has got ample time for all other activities along with studies or along with his work. So proper time management will help in bringing positive energy into your lives. So till now we have studied all the different types of self-management factors. That is, what are the factors which lead to self-management of a person. I hope you have understood it very well. Now the next part of the chapter, next time we are going to deal with individually what are the factors that lead to all these self-management skills. We will be covering that in the next session. But before that, let me tell you now you must be wondering about how do we learn skill education? Now where do we get the textbooks? What are the notes that we have to learn from? So let me tell you first, in the first instance, that the textbooks for skill education will not be available to you in any stores, in any general stores like Jyoti stores or any other store. The textbook and the study material for skill education is available on the CBSE website. You can download the PDF for that from the CBSE website and you can go ahead with studying from those notes and study materials. So now in the next slide, I'm going to show you how we can download these notes from the CBSE website. So we will open our web browser and in our web browser we are going to type cbse.nic.in. The CBSE website will open. You have to click on the cbse.nic.in and it will open the CBSE website. You will click on CBSE website. Then you will see a tab on top called examination and then you will click on curriculum and syllabus. A new page will open up for you and under this you will see a tab called skill education. On the green tab you will see a tab called skill education. You will click on that skill education because all the notes, books, everything for skill education will come under that tab. Under that you have another tab called as books. You have got all the different types of tabs. So whatever information you want about skill education will be available under these tabs. Your sample question papers including would be there under these tabs. But today we are going to first learn how to download books. So click on books and then you will click on session 2021. Then you will click on your secondary level and under secondary level you will see the tab here called as employability skills. Once under employability skills, all the notes and PDF will be there. You will click on books and you will click on the tab called books, and under that you have got class 9th book, and you will be able to download the PDF file and the study material for your employability skills under these two tabs, that is books and your study material. You will be able to download the PDF form of the textbook by clicking on the download button, and you can download it and you can either print it or you can study it directly from your textbook. So the entire textbook and study material will be available in a PDF format for you, from where you can download and study employability skills. So this is the way to download your study material and books from the CBSE website. I hope I'm clear with it, and you will be able to start studying your employability skills as and when we complete the different units before we go on into skill subjects. Thank you, students. We will be continuing with this unit in the next class. Thank you.